Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Implivs. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show. Hi, this is Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast, and this is the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Implivs. We got some stuff to cover over today. I'm sorry about the new do and all that good stuff. Updated card for WrestleMania 30, WWE Heavyweight Championship match, Batista versus Randy Orton. And, of course, we know there may be a triple threat, so we're just going to have to, see what happens with something we're going to talk about later. They're going to have an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Sopar, Ryback, Curtis Axel, and Big E, and there will be 27 others in that match. So we'll just have to see who they're going to do. There'll be Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. The only time Brock Lesnar's match will actually get some attention, other than the fact that Heyman's out there with him, in my opinion. Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. If Bryan wins, he gets a spot with the WWE Heavyweight title match. And John Cena versus Bray Wyatt with the host of Hulk Hogan. So I'm pretty sure there'll be more interesting stuff come out in the next few weeks. Zack Ryder has debuted a new YouTube show titled Zack Ryder's Last Resort. This is not something done through WWE, as Ryder is doing it himself. Ryder talks about how he rose to popularity, but says his dream has turned into a nightmare over the past 2 years. Ryder said he went from fist pumping to people asking who he was. Ryder says he is back at the bottom, and could his contract expire or fight, if he's going to let his contract expire, or is he going to fight back? Ryder says it's time for the Ryder revolution. Jeff Jarrett's latest video says that he will make his first major announcement on April 7th, which is the day after WrestleMania 30. It appears Karen Jarrett has had and will continue to have a prominent role with the new project. I'm not sure if that's if it's the same Jarrett that had in TNA. I'm not sure if that's a positive thing or not. If it's just her, that's maybe okay. Jarrett talks about how his whole family is excited, so it's going to be kind of cool. The Ultimate Warrior announced to Twitter that Linda McMahon will be inducting him into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. He kind of picked at people on Twitter. He said, he wrote, "Fortune-telling pundits lack the integrity it takes to figure me out. I'm honored at Linda McMahon accepting my request to introduce me at the WWE Hall of Fame 2014. For all those medicinal marijuana users and that crowd, we, with half-functioning brains, introduce equals induct. One more time, induct equals introduce. Got it. Also, as noted, Hornswoggle will be attending the premiere of the Muppet movie in Hollywood tonight, and he has a role in the movie. Apparently, he plays a Russian prisoner in the Muppets Most Wanted movie, so that's kind of cool. As noted, Batista is involved in an incident at ringside with local radio DJ Cam Carlson. It was thought originally that this was something that they put on because Cam Carlson's boss was actually sponsoring the event. Apparently that is not. It was not planned by WWE or the Carson's boss. He was very intoxicated. Apparently he popped Batista. They had words first, and then he popped Batista in the back of the head. Well, we all know there's an unwritten rule. You put your hand on the wrestler, they have a right to defend themselves. And Batista did sure do that. So this Kim Carlson guy is not exactly a smart person. I mean, Batista was dangerous before, but now he's trained MMA fighter. I don't think I'd be, I really don't think I'd be messing with him. We noted before, WWE officials, including Triple H, addressed the Next roster, the most recent Next TV tapings, and told them that Next products will be the featured more prominently now that WWE Network has launched. They also told them, and as a result, fewer people will be called up quickly. Well, that's kind of funny since you've had there's several female wrestlers who've been there 10 years and still hadn't been on a major TV show. So it's kind of funny that this redheaded woman, was getting her shot. We're not even going to call her name because she wrestles so poorly that I really, and she's so fake that I'm not even going to mention her name. Well, we'll call her name, Eva Marie. They got rid of JoJo, who actually had some skill, in the ring, and didn't try to, hump every wrestler's leg as Eva Marie seems to be trying to do. Of course, we don't know if that's part of her. I know she's got a fiance, I don't know. There is some speculation that TNA knockout Brooke Tessmacher or Brooke Adams is done with the company. She has changed her Twitter handle and also changed her Instagram username. Like I said, that's what rats do. They jump off a sinking ship. Rats don't stay on a sinking ship. And TNA is listing, okay? February 27th episode of TNA Impact Wrestling scored a .095 cable rating and 1.06 million viewers. This is the same show that saw WWE's Live Next Arrival show go up against it in hour one. They did not do that good. Let's see, WWE Incorporated may find a new cable TV home for its popular Raw and SmackDown programs by the end of next month. This was per Chief Financial Officer George Barros. TNA Lockdown highlights. I didn't really go over the TNA show because, frankly, it didn't warrant a mention. But Lockdown had some interesting stuff. The main thing that I was excited about was the Great Muta actually had a match. Him, Sandana, and Yosu defeated Kazarian, Daniels, and Chris Sabin. They had a really match. As you can imagine, it was high flying. The next thing to mention was that Gunner defeated James Storms in a last standing match. And then there was a TNA title match. Magnus defeated Samoa Joe after Abyss hit Joe with the Black Hole Slam. After all that time of making Abyss a face, now they've just suddenly flip-flopped and made him I'm confused. Anyway, let's see. The Lethal Lockdown match. Basically, MVP Jeff Hardy and the Wolves defeat Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and Bromans with an assist from Bully Ray. So, I guess they've decided that they've made Bully Ray look like a weirdo for 3 months. Now they're going to make him a good guy. I don't know. Next part of the show, we're going to talk about SmackDown. SmackDown has got to where it's just, I don't know. Ryback and Curtis Axel fall to the Usos. Still excited about them being tag champs. The Shield holds a summit. To be frankly, this was actually a pretty funny part of the show. And I agree with Captain Ear that Dean Ambrose's facial expressions on Raw and SmackDown made the show. It was just hilarious. Especially when they're talking to Kane, But the Big Show and Daniel Bryan defeat Kane and Batista. Not a big surprise there. But the Shield has basically agreed to work together. At one point, I didn't really like Rollins, but his comedic talents were kind of showed off in that series. So it's going to be interesting what they're going to do with him when they split them off. Raw. Okay, everybody says that Cena's promos are overrated. However, this promo had some, I would say, t-shirt material. Cena says when he's talking to Bray Wyatt, he tells him he sees a homeless man when he looks at Bray singing "Wasting Away" in Margaritaville. Yeah, that pretty much got a pop in when we were watching. That was pretty funny. Not a god. Cena says he has 2 other bums with him and a rocking chair from Cracker Barrel. Okay, who wrote the joke? Because Did Cena come up with a joke? That's the big question. Did Cena come up with a joke, or did he call Mick Foley and look, I need some good, or did he call The Rock? I need some good, insults. Because you kind of wonder, kind of brought you back when Cena used to rap. I remember him telling Lita, he said, I shook her hand and she gave me gonorrhea. That was really wrong. Anyway, Cena tells Hogan he might not be able to make the Battle Royal, and he challenges Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30, which obviously Bray Wyatt accepts. John Cena then goes to defeat Eric Rowan, which pretty much puts Bray Wyatt into a tizzy. All I can say is Bray Wyatt comes from the genius mind of, Dusty Rhodes, and that's pretty much all you got to say. Let's see. Swagger and Cesaro get nose to nose. Funny interaction between them two. It seems the Americans is breaking up. So, and even Zeb Coulter got into it. He took his tie off and took his jacket off. I said, please God, don't let him take his shirt off. Let's not do that. But I've actually got a couple of pictures that I've seen of him and the Undertaker, and said, hey, the Undertaker was part of the original Americans. Because he had the same beard. There's times where you see him, he's got the beard a little shorter. So I don't know. The Taker and Heyman interaction was priceless. Heyman gives this huge, as he always does, this huge promo. He tells the Undertaker, actually, puts a bunch of people over, and tells the Undertaker that there's certain things that people in the WWE, worship. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but, that they talk about a lot, and, him being 21-0 is one of them. And he's thinking he's done pretty good. He's thinking he don't want him to, to face Brock Lesnar, and I really can't believe because he's not going to win. Brock Lesnar's not going to win. Hell no. Because even Triple H himself has been quoted that he didn't want the streak to end, that it was pretty much up to the Undertaker. Being that we know that the Undertaker does not like, being that we know that the Undertaker has no love lost for Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's not going to be the one to beat him. I don't care. I don't care what Brock Lesnar thinks. But he gives this huge thing, and he's talking to the Undertaker, and the Undertaker tells him, well, this is this and this. He talks a few seconds, and then he just tells him, just tell your client that he will rest in peace. And that's all he says. You can just see Heyman go, oh, crap. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns defeat Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Had some pretty interesting things go on in that match. Cody and Goldust has got to where they're doing the high flying stuff a lot, and it amazes me and several other. I've heard several other radio hosts and YouTube hosts talk about the change from when Goldust debuted until now. How he actually looks in better shape than he did when he first come out. He's streamlined. He's running up the turnbuckle and flipping off and doing moonsaults, and so it just amazes me that he's come back that's good and actually reinvented himself. And Cody is starting to do. I actually watched a couple of times that he did the moonsault off the cage, and I was like, wow. Brian stands up to Triple H with his friends in the ring. It was really funny. It was kind of really hilarious. And and basically Daniel Bryan gets his match with Triple H, and then basically he's going to be in part of the three-way if he wins. Now, this is another big question, since we didn't do one last week. The big question is if Daniel Bryan actually beats Triple H, then we know for a fact that Triple H has endorsed Daniel Bryan off camera. If he doesn't, then we know that Triple H is doing his normal shovel and dirt, But it's just going to be kind of interesting And so far, everybody's been saying that they've been having problems with the WWE app on Xbox 360. I've only had one time where it didn't connect, and I waited about 10 minutes and it connected. So I really haven't had any problems. I just kind of wonder when they're going to start putting the WCW stuff on there. There's things from WCW I wouldn't mind seeing. There's some great stuff, and I have a feeling they're going to do the WWE stuff first. And, excuse me. And basically, I think that's what I think it's what's going to happen. But I'm kind of interested in that. And, I've looked at some of the stuff. But I've used the network on my phone. I've used it. I've looked at it on the computer. I've looked at it on the Xbox. So far I haven't had any problems with it. So I really don't see what anybody's having. I kind of wonder if a lot of people that are having problems are actually, maybe it's their internet, because I know, if you don't have a real fast internet, they actually warn you that, it could slow down for a minute. But yeah, I like the WWE app. I think it's, I don't really mind them pushing it now, because it is part of the network. As a broadcaster, as a content creator, and as a YouTube partner doing wrestling news, if something happens and the DVR, breaks, something happens and it doesn't record something, I can always look at it. And I can always do it. I don't have to be sitting here at the TV. I can actually go in, before I go to bed at night, sit on the side of the bed and watch the stuff. So, I like it. I think it's going to be, very cool. But we've been doing some changing. I'm trying to, I've still got some secret stuff I'm working in the background, and no, I'm still not going to tell you. But that's pretty much been the show. I'm going to go with my sponsors. I want to thank Zach Peck Promotions, who are sponsoring the webpage right now. Also, I want to thank Stop Disability Slurs, which is me and my wife's thing. We're trying to stop, fight disability slurs. Yeah, sorry. But we're trying to stop people from using disability slurs. Actually, any slurs in general, it would just be a better world. It's a fight uphill, but hey. I also want to thank Throttle, who the music is here before and after the show. That is our theme song, New Blood. I want to appreciate Throttle for that. They also are on iTunes and Amazon. You can download their albums. Great band. And I also want to thank Cineblast, the Blast 52. They're an Irish band that me and my wife like really good. They have some good music. You can find their stuff. There's all the links are on their little advertisement I have at the end of the page. And I want to thank Girls with Big Guns Clan they're on PlayStation 3 and Xbox. You can find them on Facebook. I'd appreciate it. This has been Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with the Man in Black, or aka Team Mib Lives, and we will see you next week. Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Mib Lives. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show.